Hello and welcome, where I talk to you 10 minutes about the beer I'm drinking. And it's a weird one, especially a weird can. And kind of cool, interesting can tonight. The Mikkeller Gypsy Brewer beer Arh Vad, which is A-R-H, but it's A with the O over it, meaning you pronounce it O. So Orval. H-V-A-D, which means say what in Danish? Orvad, and it also sounds kind of like Orval. So this is actually a clone of the Orval Trappist beer. And that one's known for being especially hoppy and especially brewed with Brettanomyces. So that's what this one is. They didn't say that they hopped it on the or dry hopped it on the website. But they said that they hopped it 4 different times with Styrian Goldings. And also used one strain of Brettanomyces and one strain of Belgian yeast. And I actually made sure I grabbed this because I saw on the label it said Brettanomyces on there. So, and I'm a big fan, and I've never seen a half-liter 16.9 ounce can of a beer brewed with Brettanomyces. And this is 7.6% alcohol, and has a best by date of August 27th, 2016, so I'm not sure when it was brewed or canned, maybe August 27th of this year. So for a Brettanomyces beer that's not supposed to be really an IPA or anything, it's still fresh enough, and felt pretty firm when I bought it. Had it in the fridge for a little over a day, and it still seems pretty firm, so probably a lot of carbonation, but I imagine if someone just forgot about this beer in a warm spot for a year, might explode if the Brettanomyces is still alive and eating stuff in there. I'm excited to try it because Orval is one of my favorite beers of all time, basically. Every time I have it, it's a new kind of perfect. And this is trying to be like that style, but in a just slight different way. It's 7.6, which is a little stronger than Orval. And I guess the last time they made Orvad, it was 6.8, so a little bit lower. And I guess there are a bunch of different barrel-aged versions of this beer, which I would love to try, if it's good. So we'll see. Mikkeller Arh Hvad. Ooh, yes, very carbonated. A little bit dark. Yeah, very carbonated. Yes, I think it's a little darker than Orval, or maybe just hazier. Seems to be rather hazy, unexpectedly. Maybe this can, I don't know, got shaken up a little bit. Look at that beautiful head, though. Probably a little crown. It's definitely Orval-esque, if the appearance isn't quite as refined and clear. But it smells already like a little bit of that fruity, funky Brettanomyces yeast. I kind of get some dry and sour cherry in the aroma. And just a touch of like wet hay, and also like overripe, rotting peaches, perhaps. And a lot of that is from the Brettanomyces. And I think it's actually brewed with the Brettanomyces. Look at that head, is just getting real creamy. I don't know how well you can see it. Like, I can just do this, and it's not insanely tight and everywhere, but oof. And that is a bitter tasting head. That's how you know it's a intensely Brettanomyces yeast influenced beer. And rather hazy. Whew. Yeah, that's like drinking some wicker hay. Very medicinal. I had some people tell me that they thought this beer reminded them of valerian root. A medicinal herb. And apparently what Valium comes from, I didn't know. This is pretty intense bitterness, and they said they hopped it 4 times with Styrian Golding, so I'm sure the IBUs are up there more than Orval, and also the Brettanomyces influence is pretty strong. It's definitely got a big barnyard thing going on. It's not quite like stinky feet or cheese or anything like that. It's just lots of hay and bitter herbs. And I guess I said cherry in the aroma, but now in the flavor, it's like there's no real sweet, juicy quality to it. It's almost like if some monk at Orval decided to try to make some kind of big IPA Orval with the ingredients they had. It's a little in your face and rakes your tongue a little bit. This is not going to be for everyone. It's a very intense Brettanomyces beer, but check out that head. It's beautiful. This is not nearly as refined as Orval. It almost tastes like you gotta have the intense bitter hops of a fresh Orval, but then the intense, weird, chalky, medicinal Brettanomyces of an aged Orval in one. And the smell is just a little bit fruitier, more subtle. But it's a little bit like chewing on an aspirin. And the hops only keep it real chalky on the feeling there. But it's Styrian Golding, so it's just kind of almost similar to the Brettanomyces flavor. This herbal, grassy, lemony. I don't know if I really get any other kind of citrus. Sometimes Brettanomyces can be tropical fruity, but I feel like with all those hops and the higher alcohol and this slightly toasty malt, you can see that the color there is almost amber. I think it looks a little darker because it's a little hazy. I don't think they used any roasted malt in this. Well, this is something that will just clean your mouth out completely. Ooh. Let's get a little bit more in there. And yeah, very nice. The way it's all displayed there, and because some Brettanomyces beers can have a head that's just ridiculous and also very big bubbled, so it falls apart and doesn't look very nice, and tends, maybe it's just my perception, but with those beers it seems like there's something always out of whack a little bit. The intensity of the bitterness and the chalky Brettanomyces in this reminds me of the old Green Flash Rayon Vert, their Brettanomyces Pale Ale. But that one was made with an abundance of American hops. I think if you got it fresh, it would be more American hoppy. But I had some very aged versions of that, where it was just bitterness and really chalky Brettanomyces like this one. I would not want to age this anymore. It's fun to go back to, but it's always like, should I be drinking this? There's some flavors that are like, this is kind of like medicine. But it's not thick and sweet or fake sweetenery. It's very dry, very bitter, but in a different kind of bitterness than the American ones. It's not really piney. It's There aren't even any like specific clovey, spicy, banana-y, anything like that happening in this. This is just like hay, woody, cedary, oaky, with just a touch of lemon and sour cherry juice dripped on top of it. And you rub some herbs like sage and thyme or something into this. It's almost minty too. Like you could mix that into all these, with all the bitter herbs that are in this beer. It's very complex. And then also wicker chairs, leathery. Yeah, leather's, I think, very good description, especially the color. And hay. A lot of fun, but a lot of people will probably turn up their noses at this. I would get it if you're very into Brettanomyces. It's not horribly made, but it's a little bit out there, and maybe this would mellow out if it were aged on wood, get a little bit of acidity to deal with it. It's for Brett heads only. I guess 7.5 out of 10.